Joining us now is royal commentator Angela Mollard and News Corp columnist Louise Roberts. Ladies, welcome to the show. Oh, look at us all in pink. Fabulous. Angela, I'll start with you. The Archwell Mental Health Awareness event gave the Sussexes a huge tick, but it was very quickly followed up with a trip on a private jet to go on holiday. How did these things happen?
You have to wonder how they happen, don't you? There you are doing the right thing. It's Mental Health Day and they're on a stage, as are Kate and William in the UK. They're doing the thing that they have spoken about before. They're in their lane. They're playing it beautifully. And then the very next thing they do is go on a holiday without their children. Not that that's an issue, but the thing is, I could almost possibly understand a private jet if they were going with their children, because you could argue that it was a security issue. But there are normal flights. There's mainstream flights to the Caribbean. They don't need to get on a private jet. So why are they doing it when they lecture constantly about the environment? I mean, they've done it before. They went to Elton John's place in the south of France on a private jet, yet they keep making these mistakes. I don't know, are they so dumb that they don't think they're going to be called out? I just don't understand their reasoning, and I don't know why they're not being, as you said, Caroline, better advised on these things. They just almost seem like 20-year-olds playing in a sandpit and getting it horribly wrong.
And Louise, I think that's the point, isn't it? At what point is there a proper reset? At what point are they working towards a steady future rather than lurching from a little bit of good and then onto a disaster?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the reset should have happened once the Queen had passed away, and certainly before King Charles was crowned as king. That's when the reset should have happened. Clearly it hasn't. I still hold out some hope that they will come to their senses and perhaps go back to the UK and realise that family is what is important. It's not about sort of making these Hollywood pals who, as we know, seem to be tiring of them somewhat as well. I think with Harry and Meghan, it's important for them to feel they're seen as green, but what's more important is for them to appear to be wealthy and well-connected. That's really their agenda.
Now, Angela, we've seen plenty of polls this year showing the Sussexes sliding in popularity, which is a bit of an issue given Louise's last comment. But now there's a concern that it might actually impact their ability to pick up work.
Well, exactly. I mean, that is your status is everything, isn't it? And I've just been in the UK, Caroline, and I was absolutely astonished by how irrelevant they are seen. I caught up with a lot of journalism mates, people that don't work in that industry, and people just don't have any time for them whatsoever. And of course, we've seen that in America as well. These polls are not just British polls, they're American polls as well, which show a decline in popularity. Harry seems to maintain it a little bit better than Meghan. Her polls keep going down. So I think there's a little bit of that kind of maybe targeting the woman as the villain in this. So, and I don't think that's entirely correct. But I think, where do you recover? If you're sitting at home and you're Meghan and you're very driven, you've worked really hard to get all those jobs as an actress. I mean, you are being auditioned to actually get roles. So you know how important it is to be forward-focused, to have a goal, to have a plan. And now she must be sitting there wondering, where has it all gone so wrong? The South Park, for me, was, and that sort of mockery of them, was a low point, because America was supposed to be their great champion. I just don't know why they couldn't have spoken to the Queen initially, and they could have been a royal diffusion line in the States. They could have been doing royal work up in Canada and other parts of the Commonwealth, and they just shot themselves in the foot.
That would make perfect sense because, I mean, Louise, they have to work. They've got a young family to juggle. And regardless of how much money you have, that's a lot of work. Where do they go to from here?
Well, the normal route you would go to in this position is you would call on your family for help. But, that was one of the first things they did, was blow up that blood relationship, because they knew better. And the land of hope and glory and great promise awaited them in the US, where Meghan is from, of course. So I think really they have to eat humble pie. But I can see Harry doing that more than Meghan. I think Meghan is still on this trajectory where she feels she deserves this world platform. She deserves this great Hollywood career. She has a sort of fabulous agent, William Morris, etc. But, at the end of the day, it should be about the kids and it should be about their family.
Yeah, absolutely. And Angela, I know we've spoken about this so many times, but how does this play out going forward?
Yeah, I think they need to hire good staff. Whether they can afford to or not is a question. I think they need really great strategists and very calm, not knee-jerk strategists. I mean, there's so much knee-jerk in the behaviour, the way they do everything, as we saw by the, a few weeks ago in New York and how they responded to that. They need clear, consistent strategy, and they need to hire the best people to help them. I also think they really need to go back to what is their purpose? What do they really want to do? Invictus was purposeful for Harry, and it has that wonderful synchronicity with his work in the Defence Force. Where is Meghan's true purpose? We've talked about, and as Louise referred to, the William Morris Agency, the thoughts. There's been a lot of speculation that she's going to start a Goop style, a Gwyneth Paltrow style website. I just don't think that aligns with really all the talk, the human, the work that she's done in the past around, humanities and that sort of thing. I just think there needs to be something purposeful, a great strategist on board, and maybe just a period of being quiet and having some thought. Steve Jobs used to always say thought is an action as well, and I think they need some thinking time.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Now, look, I got such a kick out of the Harry actor from his court case. Here he is.
I believe that, again, as a child, every single one of these articles played an important role, a destructive role in my growing up. To give any confirmation that I can specifically remember reading the articles at the time, I believe would be speculation.
That's not where it ends. A few eyebrows have been raised about how Harry's been cast in the TV series The Crown. Louise, does this character look anything like him?
I feel a bit sorry for this young actor who's playing the part of him, Flynn Edwards, the one who gets to play the young Harry, because obviously this is his great moment to show off his acting skills, and really the only thing we can focus on is the fact is his hair a wig? Is it dyed? He looks nothing like Harry did at that age, apart from the sort of chinos and the polo shirt. But it's fascinating to watch these sort of different actors we willed out in different parts of Harry's life to sort of look something like him, when in fact they bear very little resemblance. I think, in fact, this young kid looks a bit like the character out of Harry Potter, poor thing, but obviously we'll have to focus on his acting skills.
Yeah, let's hope. Now, Angela, we know William and Kate have been lauded for taking on a huge part of the senior royal duties, but there's an inkling that not all might be well, and maybe they aren't pulling their weight. What's the story?
Yeah, there's been some criticism in London about the fact that that they're not doing as much work as they should, that they've just had 2 months off with their children. Look, I don't agree with it. I really don't. In fact, I've written pieces about I think they're in danger of burnout. I mean, the slimmed down royal family, they came straight off the coronation, and the coronation was a huge amount of work. They were sort of catapulted all around the country. They have 3 young children who they have to look after, and that is their primary responsibility. They are raising the next layer of the royal family, George, and they very much want George to be supported by his siblings, so they want to spend time making sure that their family is strong and intact. And let's also remember all their portfolios. They don't just have one portfolio. Kate has early child care education, they have mental health, they have homelessness, they have sustainability in the environment. They don't just stand and go and shake someone's hand and not know the answers to things. They have to go deep into each one of those portfolios. Kate's particular portfolio is going to be a legacy project for her. This will go for the rest of her life. She needs to be deep within that. So there's a lot of work they're doing behind the scenes. So I don't know where this griping's coming from. I don't think it's fair, and I think they're doing an extremely good job.